Hello there everyone and welcome back to FreshTakesF1. My name is Tommy.
And I'm Jamie.
And there we go, we're on Season 2, Episode 2.
Let's go.
We just had the Bahrain Grand Prix and we're here to talk about it. That's basically it.
Good race, isn't it?
I thought it was okay, let's start off by saying obviously...
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, obviously it was a Max Verstappen absolute slaughter again.
And Perez as well. Perez was 12 seconds ahead of third place.
That's true. But
both
like,
Red Bulls.
It wasn't like a slaughter from Perez's point.
No.
Like there was points where I wasn't sure he was going to be second, maybe until the end.
Verstappen was never a doubt, was he?
Yeah, which was disappointing, we can say. I think that was one of the things we didn't want.
I wanted them to be
the
much
season.
closer to everybody else, for sure.
Yeah. But, you know, other than that, if we forget about the fact... Because, to be honest, I didn't even care. Like, I wasn't even looking at who came first.
No,
I was just looking at
it was
everything
about
else.
third to seventh reality, wasn't it?
I wasn't really caring about who came first. So...
No.
If we look at all the other stuff that happened in the race, pretty good race, man.
Very good race.
I
There was
enjoyed
a few surprises, I'd say.
100%. I mean, I think everyone knows what the biggest surprise is. I mean, maybe not a surprise, but, you know, the biggest talking point. We'll get onto that in a little bit, I'm sure.
For sure.
Just to let you know how the show is going to go today, we've got a few different segments. So we're going to do, obviously, the Bahrain GP review. Then we'll move on to Callum's questions. Callum's not here. I don't think there's no one behind us.
He's giving us questions.
He's given us the questions. Callum, if you remember, is from last week. He watches Formula One a little bit more now that he's living with us, but he wasn't a big fan before. He knew a little bit, so we're kind of getting him up to speed, and if he's got any questions, he'll ask us. So after watching the Bahrain Grand Prix, he was then like, oh, I've actually got quite a few different questions. So he's wrote down a couple of little bits, so we'll answer those. So, Bahrain Grand Prix. I will give you the top 10.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention the other half, but like, we'll give you the top 10 just in case anyone's forgotten how the race finished.
Yeah.
So, first was Max Verstappen. Second was Sergio Perez. Third was Fernando bloody Alonso.
Come on.
I mean, I said last week, I was very confident. I said that Aston Martin had a good car. I said 2 wins this season.
Yeah.
My 2 wins this season is not looking too far off now.
It's not. Again, it's very, very possible at the moment.
Honestly, like,
it's very possible.
That car looks good.
But like we were saying, is that really a surprise? Because since testing, we were all saying, "Hang on, this could be something in the works here."
Mm-hmm, but we didn't.
We all thought there was definitely potential.
The thing is, we're testing. We don't know how they're running their car. We don't know their fuel loads.
But after practice came along, for Bahrain, we were all like, "Okay, hold up, they are for real here.
Clearly, the car is the real deal."
Yeah,
right?
They actually pulled it out the bag this time around, I think.
Right. So 4th, Carlos Sainz. 5th, Lewis Hamilton. 6th, Lance bloody Stroll.
Lance Stroll,
with
man.
2 broken wrists
Don't
or whatever.
forget his broken toe as well.
His broken toe as well to boot. That's pretty nuts.
That's insane. I'm quite impressed by that.
Which is another testament to the car and how good
I think
that car
it's a huge testament to Stroll as well to be able to do that with the car.
Yeah, 100%. 7th, we've got George Russell. 8th, we've got Valtteri Bottas.
I thought that was an impressive result for him.
That's a good result.
Because he was doing this last season already.
Yeah.
Consistently getting those.
I mean, the Alpha's not slow.
No, and neither is Bottas.
No, but he definitely did a good job. Great race from him.
Yeah.
9th was Pierre Gasly.
I think he's probably had one of the best races of his career in that.
Best of his career.
Yeah. One of them. Because he was down in the dumps starting last.
Yeah, starting last.
Not enjoying the car.
To come and finish 9th. Yeah.
To come climb, 8 places?
Yeah, that's huge.
That's huge.
That is huge from him. We'll give him that.
In a bit of a tractor Alpine, really.
Yeah, we'll get onto that a bit later.
We'll get onto that for sure.
I'm not sure about that Alpine.
No, I'm not either.
And then to round out the top 10, we have Alex Albon.
Good result for him, I'd say, and for Williams.
Absolutely
I think
solid as ever.
Logan Sargent didn't do too bad. He was, 12th, 13th?
He was 12th,
12th, for first race for him.
I mean, yeah.
I don't think that's bad at all.
This takes us on to my first kind of question or section for you. It was the winners and losers of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Now, I'm going to say that Williams are in the winners.
I would argue that. I would say they're in the midfield right now.
Yeah.
After that race, they're a solid midfield contender who can get into the points positions.
As I was saying to Zeph the other day, the Bahrain circuit is kind of a best of both worlds kind of thing. You get all different kinds.
Sure.
You know, you got 3 DRS zones, you got medium, low, and high speed corners. So like last year's Williams, it was all about downforce, all about all about straight line speed. Right? It was just fast. So tracks like Monza and stuff were good like that. But if it's coming to the Bahrain Grand Prix, and getting a good result there...
Yeah, it can compete with the other midfield team.
Yeah, that is a good track that shows a good indication.
Because realistically, Bottas and Gasly are interchangeable in that top 10, between the Williamses, some other Alpine, maybe even a Haas sneaking in.
Yeah.
But I think Williams is definitely in for the battle for some top 10 positions
100%.
here.
And I was really impressed by Logan Sargent.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
You know, he's, I think, by a lot of people, the lowest rated rookie of this year.
Yeah, but he was the highest finishing rookie, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Piastri didn't finish.
Piastri
which
didn't
we'll get
finish.
on to.
De Vries finished below him.
Yeah, De Vries was 14th, which is still not a bad result.
No.
But yeah, so Logan Sargent definitely impressed me.
Yeah.
Williams have impressed me, and Alex Albon he's also just a master of the shitbox.
Yeah, he's very much a George Russell kind of Williams driver, isn't it? Which I love to see, man.
It seems like all three of them, though, they're friends, aren't they? Obviously, Lando, George Russell, and Alex Albon. It seems like all three of them are really good at driving bad cars, right? You know what I mean? It's a very interesting trait they picked up.
You know who hasn't impressed me?
Who?
McLaren.
Yeah, I mean,
I was gonna say.
This is the Danny Rick from last year.
Shame he's not going to be on the number quiz.
Yeah, that is true. There. I would have his number right here. But this is to gloat because you've seen all the memes going around of Danny Rick at home chilling because he knows he's getting paid 90 million to not drive a tractor. That car is absolutely awful. I don't know what was going on. Like,
it's embarrassing.
I felt so bad for Lando just driving around, needing to get like hydraulic fluid topped up every 5 laps. Oh my god! How is that a sustainable race strategy? They should, as soon as they realise how to do that, just go out the race.
Just retire.
There's no point. Save the car, save the parts. Just go to next week and sort it out.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, because like there's just no need for that.
There is absolutely no need.
It ruins,
I feel bad for Lando.
It ruins the image. I think it would look better for them if they just DNF'd him straight away than it would for them to just put in his hydraulic fluid every 5 laps, right?
Did he finish last? No, Ocon did.
No. He was. Yeah, he did finish last technically because Ocon technically DNF'd.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lando was last, so he should have DNF'd.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it was just completely an absolute farcical
shambles. Yeah.
I don't know what is going on at McLaren. I don't know.
But Lando's not going to be there much longer, I reckon.
Yeah. I mean, how much of this was Andreas Seidel not being there?
How
much has that affected
But he left
the
quite
team?
late though. You know?
The
car, I reckon, was mostly done at that
Something's
point,
happened though. You don't go from fighting for 4th
to
just having a shitbox. You know what I mean?
They've done this before.
Have they?
Yeah, they've gone and become a shitbox before.
Oh, what, in the Alonso?
The
McLaren Honda days?
Yeah. Probably arguably worse than they are now.
Yeah, true. At least we're not at that point, but that
was a deep hole.
Yeah.
This is manageable. They can get out of this quite
easily, for sure. But they need to sort it out.
They need to sort it out
quickly.
Yeah,
because you don't get this sorted this season, and that's the rest of this era done.
Yeah,
for
sure, 100%.
It's disappointing from them,
and it's a promising era for McLaren in reality.
Yeah,
good sponsorship coming in.
Yeah,
good drivers in reality as well. Obviously with Lando and Piastri even.
Yeah, I mean, you feel bad for Piastri as well, don't you? His maiden Grand Prix, his first one.
But I don't know. I'm not sure he would have been any better in Alpine, to be fair. I don't think that car is much better than McLaren in the grand scheme of things.
Let's talk about the Alpine because they were also on my losers of the Grand Prix as well. Because you had the whole situation with Ocon. I've never seen someone get as many penalties.
So funny.
Not serving them right.
Funny.
What was that?
It was.
What was that? Like
the memes from that were really, really good as well.
The memes were good.
They were top.
They were. But
jeez,
I saw the radio message of him saying like, "Oh, I've done this the entire time I've been in Formula One." Well, clearly you're doing it wrong, my boy. Because someone of those mechanics started screwing on that wheel and that way too.
He had the 5-second penalty,
I think, wasn't it? Yeah.
And then he had to come back in for doing a penalty wrong to serve that penalty.
Yeah.
And he was spinning in the pit lane and got another penalty.
It's unreal.
It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. So
you know what I want to talk about next, Tommy? Mercedes, they're really slagging off their own car at the moment.
Man.
And they finished, 4th and 5th?
Right, no, not 4th and 5th. It was 5th and 7th. 5th and 7th. Okay, not good.
But the Aston Martin we know is quick.
Yeah, I mean, there's the quotes of Toto saying that, the car is just done, right? It's not what they want. They've fucked up already.
Hamilton called it average.
He's written off the season, right? That's crazy.
They're competing for 3rd in constructors, potentially 2nd here.
You've written off the season at the first race.
And also, a decent enough car to be competing.
These statements that they're putting out to the media, both him, Lewis Hamilton, George, George saying that Red Bull have wrapped it up, Toto saying that they've built a shit car. Imagine you're back at Brackley, you're back building that car in the factory, and you're seeing that from Toto being like, this car is fucking shit. We need to give them better.
Go downhill instantly, isn't it?
That is just not the way that you run a business, right?
If the car was that bad, they'd be out of the top 10.
Right?
It's been one race.
I understand that they aim high, right? They're aiming first or nothing.
They've been at the top.
But look at where you are last
7
season.
years,
you know what you're building on. You're basically at the same point. You know what I mean? That's fair enough because you might have made gains over the winter break, but everyone else has as well, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the fact that they're not that much further ahead isn't that much of a big deal.
But they've kept up at the same time. Right, they've clearly kept up with everybody
so at the
else.
same point, that's better, than being worse. They're not worse right now.
No, arguably they actually are doing slightly better, I'd say.
I mean, I don't
know. It's hard to tell how
last year's result from the first Grand Prix, but it just seems a bit much for Toto to be out there saying that the car is absolutely done, and it's the worst thing ever.
Like, that's what they've done.
The motivation of the Mercedes camp must be all over the shop, because I know they've had a lot of key figures taken by Aston Martin and Red Bull.
Yeah.
A lot of key technical figures gone over there, so they've lost those already. They've now got Toto saying for the last 2 years that the car is shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
something's falling apart. Something is. Some wheels have come loose here.
I've never seen Toto look as vulnerable as he did on this season of Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
This one that just
came
out.
He looks very worried.
You know the bit where they're all arguing, like, change your fucking car. Like, that scene. He's never been as much of a little bitch as he has been before.
And he really has been.
I'm sorry, Toto, if you see this, don't come and kill me. But, yeah, he did look like a bit of a bitch in most of that season, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I was not impressed.
No.
So I don't know what's going on at
Mercedes.
Mercedes.
He's losing it a little bit.
I don't want to say that. I don't want to put out big statements like that.
But like in terms of stress and it's all getting to him.
Something's gone wrong. I've heard
because he never used to react to things like this.
I mean, the Mercedes fans are also going nuts. Have you seen? There's like hundreds of tweets calling for Mike Elliott, the technical director, to step down.
Really?
Yeah. There's hundreds and hundreds of tweets. Hundreds. It's crazy. So
it would take a lot for that kind of stuff. It would take a lot for Toto to leave.
Yeah, I think
this
so.
Is nothing for Toto to
I mean, he's so invested. He's what a primary.
He owns part
primary owner, isn't he? So yeah, I don't know what's going on at Mercedes, but I think it's ridiculous how they are handling the situation. They're just crying.
Yeah,
do better.
Gone over the top.
Your Mercedes, do better.
And they're not even doing that bad. They're doing better than 7 other teams.
Right, like.
No, come on.
I don't know.
It baffles me.
Yeah, I used to be, Mercedes over Red Bull. I don't like either of them these days. They both kind of annoy me now, to be honest with you, because...
So we're Aston Martin fans now.
We're now Aston Martin fans.
And Alonso fans, obviously.
Yeah, we've switched. That's where it's at.
That's
all right?
Obvious. I mean...
You know that's where the heat's at.
I'm sure you understand.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the same boat, I'd say.
Yeah.
My dad was texting me, go Alonso the other day.
Well, that's actually a good segue, because... On our winners of the Bahrain Grand Prix, we have Fernando and Aston Martin.
Because let's be real, they're the biggest winners.
They are the biggest winners.
Besides Red Bull and Max, obviously, dominating.
Yeah.
In the fans' winners, let's be real, it's
Fernando, of course. I mean...
Even Lance is up there.
You know that I was watching his POV for the entire race, wasn't I?
I know you were.
Because it was interesting. Like, that was the person that I was most excited to watch.
Yeah.
And to see it from his point of view. Because, like, watching him have those battles with the Mercedes and, getting past Sainz.
Such great overtakes as well, man. 41 years old, this man is. 41.
Man. An absolute demon behind the wheel still. So... That was good to watch. Like that was what I was there for, and I'm glad it delivered.
It was so good.
I would have been so sad if Alonso had just crashed out.
Crashed,
I know. His mechanical failure or something, and the engine just pops. Yeah,
he nearly hit Hamilton, nearly hit Sainz.
I would have been so disappointed.
Pretty sure he made contact with Sainz or Hamilton at some point.
I think. It was Stroll hitting from behind, and the entire time,
they didn't tell him. They couldn't tell him.
He was like, "Who hit me?
Who hit me?
Are they being investigated?"
No.
Oh yeah, we're just checking. We're just checking. Sorry, Fernando. We're just checking.
It was fucking Stroll the entire time, man. That's hilarious.
But do you know what? Like, I like their relationship. I don't know how much of it is for show. I mean, I think Fernando's just genuinely happy to be there. Right?
Yeah, he's happy.
He's happy. He's got a good car. I think he's happy. He's finally made a good career decision.
He's happy that Stroll is doing okay in this car as well. I mean,
okay, yeah. Stroll actually had a great race.
All things considering.
Because I'm sure everyone has seen that clip. If I remember, I'll add it in post. There's a clip of him when he's turning the car in practice, and he turns it that much, and then his left hand can't do it, so he grabs it with his right or whatever. Yeah. That's crazy.
That's crazy. And
you're driving like that, and you're overtaking George Russell.
Yeah.
Like that. That's crazy.
It is.
That's nuts.
It's insane.
Yeah,
so I
fair
think,
play to them.
Definitely one of the winners as well. I'd
say. Lance Stroll was great
for sure.
So Aston Martin, just in general, I'm very impressed with.
Yeah,
I think
there's
good stuff to come.
I think I said this to you last week. Even if the team can work very well together as a team, have good strategies this year, they clearly have the car to be successful.
Yeah,
it needs to be a team effort, and the entire team needs to stick together and make the correct decisions.
Yeah.
Don't do what Ferrari did last season, where they had a great car, but the entire team just fell apart after the first race.
And the question is, are they going to ever challenge Red Bull this season?
I don't know about that. I don't know if anybody will.
I've seen more quotes saying that, Ted said that they could have finished a minute ahead if they wanted. Someone else said that they told them to turn down their engines for the last few laps, so that they didn't.
Verstappen was 24 seconds ahead.
Yeah,
it was nuts.
I don't understand.
He was 12 seconds ahead of Perez, and then Perez was like another 11 seconds ahead of Alonso.
Yeah, I don't understand how they've managed to make such a good
Adrian Newey.
I mean, apparently, I've heard that he didn't have a huge hand in building these last two cars. He does one specific part of the car, like just the rear suspension or something these days. Apparently. I'm pretty sure, I think that's what I want to say Ted was saying when I went to the Races Live podcast. Shout out. The cost cap. But I think that's one of the things he was saying, is that Adrian Newey doesn't actually have a big part on the car anymore. So it's just the Red Bull team. Is it the staff that they poached from Mercedes, which they did about a couple seasons ago, just before the new regulations?
They all know exactly what they're doing.
Exactly. So it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does.
But
then let's be real. He probably has had a pretty big. Whether he actually did it himself, he's at least had a huge influence on the philosophies of how to build the Red Bull car.
Yeah.
And what concepts to use and stuff.
Yeah.
Whether or not he's directly doing it, he's definitely had a huge influence over it for sure.
So having him there in your staff is always going to be...
It's still always going to be huge for the team.
Okay. But, it's just crazy how fast they've got.
It's insane.
I can't understand it.
They've gained so much time.
Yeah.
I'm afraid it's probably just going to be,
another period of domination.
But you know what? That's fine.
Bahrain curse, though. Bahrain curse.
No.
You don't believe this is the first time the Bahrain curse has been broken since 2017?
Yeah, for sure.
You think so?
Let's be real.
Because, we had the Ferrari 1-2 last year.
Imagine Alonso wins it. Imagine Alonso wins the championship, man. Oh.
What I'd give. I'd give to
a
see
lot,
that.
a couple limbs probably.
Probably, yeah.
At least.
I'd do a lot for that.
I do
a lot for an Alonso World Driver Championship. Bloody hell. Right. Moving on then. Some more losers. I don't have any more winners from the Grand Prix, by the way.
There's a lot more losers than winners, I'd say, to be honest with you.
I'm going to shout out Yuki Tsunoda one time as well, because we did say last week that Nick De Vries, which to be fair, I'm saying for the season, was going to beat Yuki Tsunoda, but we did say that, and then Tsunoda out-qualifies him, and he's also got an 11th in the race, which is pretty good with a very mediocre AlphaTauri.
The AlphaTauri's pretty dreadful.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's below.
And it's not the worst. You've got Nick De Vries in 14th as well.
No, the worst is definitely arguably the McLaren. To be honest.
Yeah.
And then the Haas, I would say.
Okay, so the
thing with Alpine.
The thing with Hulkenberg.
Gasly did okay in the Alpine.
Yeah, the thing with Hulkenberg is the only reason Hulkenberg finished so low was because taking damage in the first lap or two, right? So other than that, he was fast.
What happened to Magnussen? Was he just down in the dumps?
Yeah, I guess Magnussen just didn't have a great weekend, to be honest. 13th, didn't see him in qualifying. Don't remember him. Pretty forgettable weekend for K-Mag. Yeah. But Hulkenberg was fast in qualifying.
He was very fast.
So I think that would translate to the race if he didn't pick up.
So you reckon just McLaren is probably the worst car?
McLaren's definitely the worst car right now. Yeah, 100%, which is crazy. But nuts. Worst car. But yeah, shout out Yuki Tsunoda because he drove a better race than I thought. 11th place is not bad in that AlphaTauri.
As we said before, same with Gasly.
Yeah.
Even though the Alpine may or may not be that good of a car, Gasly clearly got the most out of it.
It really goes to show, like,
he started last as well.
Yeah, again, the difference between him and Ocon.
Yeah, is
like Ocon DNFing and getting all the penalties,
and
Gasly coming from 20th to 9th.
Even. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
That is
yeah. I much prefer Gasly as a driver and kind of as a person to Ocon.
I mean, yeah. Oh, as a person, in most ways, I prefer him. I'd say.
Yeah, Gasly's definitely my preferred.
He's got a special heart. Yeah, it's got a special place in my heart, for sure.
Yeah, I like
he's lovely,
Gasly.
Man.
Yeah, he's good. So shout out to him as well. He gets a little shout out from us.
Yeah. He's not on the losers list. He's actually probably more on the winners list because of the race he had.
Do you know who we haven't talked about yet?
Go on then.
Ferrari. We haven't talked about
because it's embarrassing.
The absolute
it's hilarious.
That's the circus that is Ferrari. Absolute circus, bro. Full of clowns.
Was it first lap of qualifying in a bit of bit of the wing or something fell off.
Yeah.
The
Oh
eyebrows,
yeah,
the eyebrows
yeah.
over the wheels.
The stuff fell off.
Literally first lap of qualifying.
They put in a brand new power unit and a brand new what was it, like electronics thing or
Battery
whatever. I don't know.
something as
They
well.
put in 2 brand new components before the
Both
race.
of which you can only have 2 each season.
Yeah, and then DNF'd out the race because one of those things broke. So they now use both of them. So any new part of that of the like
back of grid penalty, I'd imagine.
yeah, that's
That's huge
insane.
already. And we've
What
still got
the
22
hell?
races to go.
It's crazy.
I mean, Sainz finished 4th, but
Yeah.
clearly the Aston Martin was just quicker on merit
Yeah.
than the Ferrari was, which is insane as well.
Okay, I don't know.
Or do you reckon Sainz is just
I think the Aston Martin is about the same pace
about
as
the
the
same?
Ferrari.
Do you reckon Leclerc would have stayed ahead of Alonso in that case?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I
That's
think
fair enough.
I think Leclerc in that Ferrari is a
lippy,
force.
yeah.
Obviously not anywhere
huge.
near the Red Bulls. It's just that he can't do it.
No.
The car doesn't have enough pace. But I think that when everything's working, Charles Leclerc in that car is fast.
Yeah.
And I think definitely on pace. I think it would have been a good fight with Alonso because there was a few things that had to go right for Alonso to get that podium.
Yeah.
You know,
a lot of things Leclerc had to.
Yeah, he was
had
never
to DNF,
in a shout of getting that podium if Leclerc doesn't DNF. So I think
Well,
that,
would he still have caught up Sainz?
I don't know. That's what I mean. Like a lot of things, you know,
Maybe,
Leclerc
but
DNFing really led to that. So I don't want to say outright that the Aston Martin is faster than the Ferrari.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But I definitely think that they're around the same pace.
Yeah,
for sure.
It'll depend on the track and
Yeah,
things like that. They'll basically decide who will finish ahead, I reckon.
and whether Ferrari can just not blow
Keep
up.
the shit together.
I don't understand, bro.
Oh, Ferrari, man, they're the most anxiety-inducing team going.
Imagine being a Ferrari fan. Couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it.
Couldn't
I
do it
jumped off
myself.
a bridge.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's-
This baffles me.
Absolutely.
Just yeah.
The
You would have thought. Honestly, mind's blown.
It'll be interesting to see as the season progresses how things change and whether it gets any better.
We said this all season last season.
Oh yeah.
All season, every race we were like, surely they've learned. And every fucking race, they kept doing something.
But there's clearly a lot left over from the Bonotto era.
Oh yeah,
Right?
for sure.
Fred Vasseur's come in so late that he's not had any influence on this year's car
No, obviously
or anything
not,
to do
no.
with that. So there is an element of giving them the benefit of the doubt for a year
Yeah.
because Fred Vasseur, just got there.
Yeah.
You know, there's only a certain amount of things that you can change before, you know, when you just get there
Yeah.
for a season.
Obviously, but
So,
yeah,
You know, we got to give him the benefit of the doubt.
for
but
sure.
Ferrari is still.
But it's not
absolutely
looking.
fucked
It's
it.
not a good start at all.
No.
You don't want to start the season like this. That's for sure.
Yeah,
That's for
100%.
sure.
It is baffling. Don't know how it happens. Yeah,
Jeddah next.
Jeddah next.
Move on.
We'll move on. What else have we got? Let's move on to the next section, which is Callum's questions.
Callum's questions.
But for Callum's questions, I'm gonna need my phone, so we're gonna
That's
take a
all
quick
right.
break so I can grab my phone
We
and get the
shall see you
questions.
shortly in that
Yes.
case. We are back in.
So, welcome back to FreshTakesF1. Now we've got Callum's questions. So Callum is our flatmate that's been living with us for a while. He's kind of a new fan to Formula One, so if you're a new fan yourself, this is a good way to get some of your questions answered.
We've been starting to teach him. He's been
taking on a few
picking
things.
it up quite a lot.
Yeah.
So
he's
but
given
yeah,
us-
he's gonna keep having questions.
Yeah,
isn't he?
he's watched the Bahrain Grand Prix with us, and he's got us 3 questions for us to answer. So the first one is, which track is going to be the most controversial this season? I like that one.
That's a good one.
I like that one.
Because not many are too controversial, but there's a couple that might. There's a couple that are probably quite controversial.
Yeah. I
but-
mean, so the FIA has just come out with the new rules, slight tangent, but they just come out with those rules against drivers speaking out.
Yeah,
which is
making political statements,
ridiculous.
basically,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Which
drivers.
is what they've always done.
These drivers are still going to make statements if they want.
Oh,
you
Hamilton's
know?
not going to stop, is he?
The sport has always been kind of that sport that's like, oh yes, no, like we want rich people, we want investors, this and that. Don't say this, but like people like Lewis, people like Sebastian
Vettel
Vettel
as
or
well,
whatever,
yeah,
they're going to
exactly.
speak their minds if they want to. So
yeah.
that's.
And no one's going to stop them in reality,
No.
are they?
But if we look at most controversial race, obviously any race in the Middle Eastern countries,
Saudi Arabia, for
Yeah.
example, especially after
I think
last season.
Qatar is on the
Qatar for sure.
season this year.
Yeah.
Jeddah.
Jeddah, they had the rocket
Abu
attack
Dhabi.
like 10 kilometers from
Yeah.
their last season, for example.
Yeah,
You
I
remember
forgot
that?
about
Yeah.
that.
And
They literally just got
and
bombed.
that still went on, yeah.
Yeah.
You could see the explosion from the
That was
racetrack.
crazy,
That was
yeah.
crazy. They had meetings and everything.
So that's pretty controversial, I'd say, a bombing, probably.
You reckon, yeah.
In terms of,
Yeah.
I personally think that Las Vegas is controversial. because
yeah,
right, that is clearly.
Have you seen the prices of the tickets for that? Right? It's insane.
It's clearly
because it's like hotel and kind of.
It's clearly just for rich people, right?
It's that's 100%.
That's it. You know, it's literally around like Caesar's Palace or whatever.
Yeah, it's like the Miami. It's like the Miami.
I could have made that track with my eyes closed, buddy. Like that was terrible.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks rubbish.
It's controversial for other reasons too. How Saudi Arabia might be controversial.
It's not controversial in terms of like
Saudi Arabia has a lot of political reasons behind it.
Yeah, we're not saying it shouldn't be a race.
This is sort of social reasons behind it.
It shows
isn't it?
everything about Formula One, all the elitist parts.
It shows all the worst bits of it.
Yeah, 100%.
The bit I dislike the most.
Yeah. So I'd say that's quite controversial. I'd say Monaco is also a controversial race because it's
always up for discussion.
They have the debate every year of is Monaco even worth it? The cars are too big.
Yeah, it's a
parade. It's does it even matter anymore? And I don't know.
I
don't know.
Yes and no. I agree and I disagree at the same time.
I love the fact that it's Monaco. You've got their hairpin.
Is it boring? More than likely it is.
No
boring.
heroics into Sandoval. All of that sort of stuff. Yeah. It's iconic. It's Monaco, but at the same time,
qualifying
it's boring
decides
as hell.
The race, mate.
Yeah, it's
for the most
boring
part.
As hell.
We know what's going to happen.
Exactly, and unless it's a crash in qualifying, which there often is, like I'll give it that. But like, then
Charles Leclerc loves one.
And if there's a crash in the race, it just takes like a red flag and then a load of time for it to get sorted out.
Yeah.
All right. I'm saying it right now. I don't care if they get rid of Monaco. I don't care.
I wouldn't be bothered.
To be honest with you.
What would you want to replace it
with?
The
Nürburgring.
Nice, fantastic.
Yes.
I approve of that one, mate.
There you go. For my German fans out there, bring back the Nürburgring.
We're missing the German race again now.
Or just even Hockenheim.
Just a German race, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of German fans, man.
Yeah.
I don't care about the French races though. We can get rid of those. So
yeah. Didn't we just get rid of it?
I think we did. I don't think Paul Ricard's on there.
No, Paul Ricard's gone.
Thank God.
Thank God, indeed.
Thank God. All of its lines.
So blue and so red.
So blue and so red and so white. Anyway, moving on. The second question: what is the most important feature of the new cars? So obviously these cars are an evolution of the cars from last year, which is brand new regulations, and regulations meaning that like that's the formula for Formula One. I was saying this to Callum the other day. He was like, why is it called Formula One? I was like, well, it's because the FIA provide all the teams with a formula that they have to follow to then create their car.
That's how you get F2, F3, because they have specific formulas.
This is the number one formula. So it's Formula One. So these cars are an evolution. What's the most important feature? I'm going to say the floor.
Yeah.
Right?
The floor.
Because the whole thing about this new regulations was ground effect.
Yeah.
And, last year they really struggled with that, with the porpoising. And I think that's probably the biggest thing this year. They've changed the ride height. So they've changed the height that the floor is at. They've changed the way that it is. So
essentially the draft.
It's a bit more slanted now than it was and stuff. And they're trying to reduce porpoising. So I'd say that's probably the most important feature.
I'd argue, I agree, but I'd argue the side pods and everything surrounding the side pods is quite big. Just on how different each team's side pods ideas and designs are.
For defining the kind of car, Yeah, for sure. Because you've got the Ferrari side pods, you've got the Mercedes side pods.
It's just such a visual difference between each car on those side pods for every car that surely has to have some kind of importance if everybody's gone down a completely different route with all these side pod designs.
Yeah, I agree. And then the last question he had was, why did they change the cars? Which is a valid question.
It is.
They do that every few years.
Yeah. Like in 2026, we've got the new engine regulations coming in, obviously.
Every four... No, I don't know, because it was skewed.
I don't know.
They postponed it by a year because of COVID.
I believe it was, yeah.
Yeah, so... It's every few years, I'm going to say, they change it around to just to keep things interesting. Because obviously there was the whole period of dominance with Mercedes. So
we need to change something.
Exactly. If they hadn't changed anything, Lewis Hamilton
now we just got Red Bull instead, though.
Yeah. I mean, true. But that's the idea behind it. It's to keep it fresh, to keep it new, and so that Formula One progresses into different eras.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So that's Callum's corner.
That's simple enough questions for us to answer.
Simple enough. I think that went well.
Hopefully you can take something away from that, I'd say.
Yeah.
So that was it. That is the end of Fresh Takes Episode 2, Season 2. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and listening, and following, and liking, and all of that good stuff. Follow us on TikTok with FreshTakesF1 over there. Follow us on Instagram, FreshTakesF1 again. And follow us on Spotify. Leave us a review if you can. Really helps us out. And once again, thank you everyone for listening, watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.